guys, welcome to CoinTalk, and today we have Nico, and Nico is a trader and he's also always on chain, and he's all about the meme coins and trading on chain. Nico, welcome to CoinTalk. And currently, what are you looking at in the market? Like, what excites you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. What am I looking at and what excites me? So I think right now there are still a lot of opportunities, perp trading, some of the majors. I think that everything's trading within a lot of ranges, like for example, with Sol dumping to, 110, 113 kind of range yesterday. Like you could have taken a long there with a pretty tight invalidation breaking below, the kind of previous support. And, you had a pretty big bounce up to 120, 125 kind of range. I think there's a couple other kind of, let's just call it more like 𝗘𝗫𝗖𝗛𝗙 style plays on chain right now, but they're kind of few and far between. I think that if you can find anything with good lit, you probably want to pay attention to it, because at least it's like some indication of kind of legitimacy, or at least there's money to actually play with, and it's not going to be as volatile as everything else. And then in terms of memes specifically, honestly, I've been looking at 𝗘𝗫𝗢𝗙, because I got in very early to 𝗘𝗫𝗢𝗙. The 𝗘𝗫𝗢𝗙𝗏 season I think is really good. Some smaller stuff.
Yesterday.
You say again?
I
top blasted fat, nice.
Yeah, fat yesterday.
I mean,
I'm still up.
Yeah, I honestly, fat was one of my biggest fades. I actually found it at 100K because I saw a reel on Instagram before I even knew there was a token, and I was like, wow, this thing's incredible. Let me check the token. It was out. It just had launched like a day before. It was at 100K, and I was like, wow, this is an insanely good content and everything, but it's only at 100K. Like maybe it's just gonna rug tomorrow. Like I'm not really gonna put big money in this. And then I came back a couple of days later. Gone.
Do you have any idea who are these cabals? Because I also saw 𝗘𝗫𝗧𝗏, and I saw a couple other like these on Instagram.
Yeah, like nigga chain and stuff. And I mean, I think it is definitely I've spoken to some of those teams, and I can't really confirm or deny whether it's the same team doing all of them, but they definitely kind of work together. But to be honest, it's really the somewhat democratization of everyone can just make this AI content and launch these memes, and they can be inspired by other people and copy them a little bit and do a similar style. These guys are all using the same AI tools, the same basically stack of AI tools as a mixture of Midjourney, Kling, and 11 Labs for audio stuff. So the end result ends up being pretty similar no matter who's actually behind it.
I feel like people took Queen and then made smaller clips and smaller versions of that, and more meme oriented.
Yeah. I mean, Coach Bruce, who obviously is involved with the Queen stuff, he did a very, very good job on it, and I think he kind of very much set the bar, especially in terms of capturing the energy of the time on CT with regards to his LA 𝗵𝗑𝗏 depictions with AI. He's kind of taking a different direction with it now, I think. But yeah, I mean, for me, looking at something like fat, they literally have 200K on Instagram, and I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that just because they have followers means that this is going to bring buyers, because most of those followers are retail normies who just find the content funny and actually have no money in crypto, and they're not about to go all the way down the risk curve and buy a 20 million market cap meme coin. But at the end of the day, it is a top of funnel thing, and so some of them maybe will convert. Plus, just the fact that it has that mainstream, let's just say, likability, adoption, etc., just gives more confidence to the crypto guys to buy this thing. So if something like 𝗘𝗫𝗢𝗙𝗏 can run to 45 mil right now, I do not see why fat cannot do at least that, and maybe even more. And actually, a lot of guys I've been speaking to, everyone is in agreement that fat is an incredible meme. The content's great. It's really nothing that high tech. It's just more high tech than the other memes on the market right now. And so it's really more a case of everyone thinks it's good but doesn't want to buy it, but it's just accumulating, and the chart is so good that I just think, as you said, you top blasted yesterday, I just think you get more people basically buying higher when they feel like it's bigger and somehow more safe to buy, instead of actually taking the risk earlier on. The picture doesn't change that much. There's just more liquidity and it's a bigger coin, so maybe it'll be a bit less volatile, but yeah, I see it kind of probably blowing up pretty soon. It's kind of a high conviction bag of mine. I've been in since around sub 10 mil. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking to sell at 30 mil. So just quick scalp. I'm not looking to hold this for much longer.
30 would be nice. I think for once I'm gonna try. If it goes to 30, I'll probably take initials and kind of like see where it can ride, and maybe I want to see if maybe this can go to like 50. I have a bad habit of oftentimes getting in very early and selling for like 2-3x or something. It's like my biggest flaw. So I want to see if I can have conviction in something for once.
Yeah, I also have a problem with that. On Titcoin, I'm just looking to see if it comes and touches like 20 mil, just also for a scalp, and then sell on the bounce.
Yeah, so on Titcoin, I got in pretty heavy around the first dips after it first ever ran to like, what was it? 6 mil or something like that. Yeah, 7-8 mil. And then I went heavy. I kept DCAing between 3 and 4 mil. And then I sold most of it around 12, just because it was like an amazing trade. And honestly, I thought we were gonna get a bit more. I was still bullish on it. Like I knew the community was still there. I didn't think the job was finished at 12 mil, but I thought we were gonna get a bit more of a retracement as we did before, especially because the rest of the market at the time was looking so bad. Like Sol was just nuking to shit. So I wasn't actually expecting at the time for some of these, Titcoin, FAT, etc., to be doing as well as they had. And then it just ripped to like 40 without me. But then there was a really big dip initially on a wick down to it went down to like 15. I managed to get in around I think 17, 18 like 2 days ago, and I basically managed to buy the dip on it again. So now looking pretty good.
Yeah. Same. I even did a video when it was at the top, and I was like, if it comes to 15, I'll buy and then sell when it comes back to 30. And I didn't buy the pico bottom, but I did scalp it, and it like went perfect. When it was at 12, I was like, if it comes back down to 5, I'll buy. But it never did. It was too strong. It only went retraced to like 8, and so I top blasted it.
My concern now though is that if you look at it, actually, this almost kind of double top, it's kind of inevitable. Like the second top was just on like way lower volume in a way worse market condition than it was like a couple of days ago or a week ago. So yeah, I didn't expect it to necessarily blast back through like 40 mil, but fucking awesome to see it retest it. At least it was a nice like basically close to 100% bounce from the dip the other day.
Do you think it pulls something like a Ghibli now?
I mean, I don't want to be here and FUD people's bags and say it's not possible. I think it's unlikely given current kind of like memetics and like what these memes typically are running to right now. It's not really like daily runner type meme, it's like it's not that thing. It's a bit more of like the OG memes you were seeing like 6 months ago, where it's a bit more kind of community slow cook for people to kind of get to know it and fuck with it and buy into it. I don't think it's one of those Ghibli type runners.
What about Fartcoin? Because I think Fartcoin is right now the most important meme. It's sort of like leading the whole meme market. I think it still has all the attention. The dog coins, they don't seem to have much mind share right now, and I still think it can go to like $1 billion market cap, and it's currently like at support, sitting just slightly
I mean,
below.
Honestly, I'm probably not the best person to ask about Fartcoin, just because I just don't like that coin. And I lost like 20k perp trading it or something like that. So I just decided this is not the coin for me. I'm not about to make generational wealth, and like I don't care if I fade a 3x or a 5x on Fartcoin. But from an objective sense, I do think Fartcoin is good. I mean, when everything was nuking over the past, let's say 2-3 months, and people thought that Fartcoin was maybe going to die when it went down to like 20 cents or whatever it was, I think it's good to see it recover. But I don't know. I just think with the way the meme market is these days, I think that once things have their like crazy parabolic runs, like Fartcoin did, where it went to, what was it, like 700-800 or $1 billion even, or something, like some insane number.
2.8.
Oh yeah, fuck, it went to like 2.8 billion. Yeah, I just don't think you're ever gonna see. I don't think you're ever gonna see anything like that on Fartcoin again. I could be proved wrong, of course, but honestly, I look at Fartcoin, I mean, maybe like if like the entire market turns around tomorrow, you might kind of go back to like all-time highs and stuff. But I don't know. I'm not that bullish on Filecoin. I think newer things will come in and replace it.
Right. You're more excited about the FATs and the 𝗘𝗫𝗧𝗏 and whatever, like stuff like House. House was also a banger trade.
Yeah, House was one that I missed actually. I saw some people speaking about it, but it just didn't really stick out to me that much. Maybe you can tell me a bit more about it.
Yeah, I got in at that retrace. It went to 7 mil, then retraced to 2 mil, and then I sold basically at new all-time highs, like around 7 again. And then I scalped it, but yeah, right now I'm not doing anything. I'm waiting for it to retrace a bit heavier.
Yeah, it looks like it's kind of breaking the uptrend. It looks like it could suffer a little bit here.
But the only reason I bought it is because I saw like a bunch of big accounts start to like post about it on X, but not directly, and so maybe some cabal started buying it around 2 mil, and I thought, yeah, this can definitely go and make new all-time highs because big accounts are starting to post it. I think a lot of the meme trading, sometimes it's just virality, but a lot of it is just who's buying because they're going to shill to their 100k followers, especially at these lower market caps.
Yeah, I was thinking about it today, and there's this concept in coding and stuff. You may have heard of it called like vibe coding, where you use all these AI tools to basically code for you, and you never actually have to learn how to code. And I kind of think of being in crypto as like vibe trading, whereby compared to TradFi guys are actually having to learn how to become traders. They're having to use very complex formulas to manage their risk, and jump through a bunch of hoops in order to even be allowed to trade with a certain amount of money, whatever it is. But in crypto, we just come here, we look at Twitter, we look at what people are doing, we look at something, do we think it's funny? What do our friends think? What does a KOL we follow think? You're just basically judging like everything just based on vibes, and then that's informing your trading. It's not so much about the quantitative like analysis, because like none of this stuff is actually fairly valued in the first place anyway, right? It's just like a giant game of musical chairs. So
or maybe you just got always fairly valued.
Maybe it is. Maybe Filecoin actually, maybe it's real tech and it just hasn't dropped yet. We don't know about it.
Right. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. I don't know. Those TradFi guys, do you think they have a massive edge trading, say, meme coins?
I think they could if they put their mind to it. The problem is that the game is not big enough for them to enter, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even so much about like just liquidity, but it's just the size of the game in the first place, right? If crypto is 1% of the size of TradFi, the meme coin market still remains, a small percentage of even the crypto market. So you're basically, it's like telling TradFi, hey, go trade this like small subsection of penny stocks and let's see if you make money. Because if you took all the traders and you told them to trade penny stocks and they could only trade 100 tickers, for example, then you would basically end up with the meme coin market all over again, because they would just be telling each other like why to buy certain coins and why certain coins are undervalued or overvalued, and therefore why they should like long or short. It's kind of the same thing with memes.
Don't you think it's going to grow? Because I mean, there's so much selling pressure on all these altcoins, and I still think meme coins can just become even bigger than the altcoin market. I think it's possible.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that the reality is that there's less and less attractive use cases for crypto other than gambling. And I think that this somewhat giant memetic Web3 enabled poker game of like trading on memes on chain and stuff like that is going to continue. But I think that the form it takes will be constantly adapting based on like different metas, trends, all that kind of stuff, based on also the general state of like the rest of the crypto market, and as a result, like downstream of TradFi and the general world market economy, etc. Anyway, but I think that the meme coins will continue to be like its own bubble that people can keep playing, and I think that you're seeing that right now more than ever, with the fact that Sol has been going down only since like 290 to now, but there's still plenty of guys in the trenches. Now, granted, a lot of the guys who were here a couple months ago are not here anymore. Like I bump into every day like mates of mine in crypto who, you know, just basically either quit or quit trading memes specifically, at least, just because they feel like it's dead. But like as someone who's like personally still trading all these things, and I'm surrounded by people who are even more locked in on in the trenches than even I am. Like I personally trade like the slightly more established ones. Like I don't necessarily sit on Memescope for hours a day. I do from time to time just for fun, but I don't think my edge is that. I think there are bigger, better, more like, let's call it higher leverage things I could be working on day to day. So I prefer to just like go, because like realistically, if I was going on and trading new memes on Memescope every day, I'd be buying with like a couple SOL at a time. Maybe I make 10 SOL here, maybe I make 20 SOL there, maybe occasionally I catch a 100x runner. I'd rather just say size like 5 or 10k into a coin at a couple mil market cap and make at least like a couple x on the one established solid runner, and that's like a great trade over maybe only took a couple days to hit that, for example, right? Like that's an amazing trade to take, and I've been lucky to hit a lot of those recently. But at the same time, you know, I try to very much size my positions based on the size of the meme, not because, you know, at the end of the day, there's asymmetric upside in all of these things. Sometimes you just need to go like fucking huge bulls and like just put 10k into like a 1 mil token and hope for the best, right? And you could make like insane money on that trade if it does well, but you know, you could also just lose it all. So I try to kind of roughly size my trades based on the size of the coin, just to have like some hedge against the volatility. But I mean, these things are all incredibly volatile either way, so it's honestly doesn't make that much of a difference.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be ready to see your portfolio go down like 30% to then like 2x or 3x within the hour or within the day. It's insane. And then there's like sub niches. You have people just trading new pairs. Then you have people like buying the final stretch, the stuff that's almost graduating. And then you have the people, oh, it just migrated. Let me look at what just migrated. And the whole thing is becoming, it's at the core, I think it's becoming so strong and such a like unique, special thing that whenever the market turns, I think memes are just going to come back even stronger. And I don't think the vast majority of altcoins will be able to compete.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I just think something's going to have to fundamentally change within the kind of altcoin sector to really see a difference there. And I think a lot of that will probably be somewhat downstream of what happens with ETH. Seems boring to talk about, but yeah.
Yeah, ETH seems kind of dead. Don't you think that some of these players that have been here for quite a while and have access to like quants, etc., they probably are like VCs. They probably are like tracking every single wallet and maybe like out trading us all, or they at least could do that, right? You don't think stuff like that's happening?
I think stuff like that is happening. I even have friends who are trying to build these kind of algorithms themselves. Mm-hmm. I have friends who already have algorithms that are like optimized to basically buy new coins with a higher bonding rate effectively. So let's say like 1% of coins bond every day. They will basically, they've made algorithms that are successful enough that, you know, they're able to buy coins that bond with like a 20% accuracy or something like that, right? So it's already happening, but again, it comes down to the kind of size of the game you're playing. I think oftentimes the opportunity for the smart guys, if they're so smart to be building those algos, there's probably higher leverage opportunities they could be investing their time into, which are also maybe less risky. And also, I just actually think it's a very hard problem to solve, right? Like when you're building some of these algorithms, like how do you account for people dumping on their copy traders, for example? How do you account for, you know, what the meme is in the first place? Like, emotional factors, like what if, how do you account for a big holder nuking something? How do you account for kind of almost like, let's just call it like a hidden bundle in some ways, right? Like a lot of these coins that do well, are, you know, surprisingly bundled, and you very much are kind of putting your hands in a lot of those top holders, right? So I think building these algorithms is like not a simple task, and so the guys who are doing it are probably trying to figure out how they maintain their edge, and a lot of the time we'll probably end up fighting against each other on a lot of these coins because they'll be obviously using the same data.
Do you use bundlers, or because you're buying sort of like higher market caps, you just assume they're all bundled, and so let me get my 2-3x and get out?
Yeah, I'm not bundling coins. I don't really launch coins or anything like that. It's just like not the game I play. But I obviously know people that do. But
No, sorry, I'm not saying do you use bundlers. I meant to say, do you use like scanners for bundles when you're trading, even at higher market caps?
so there are a couple good tools out there, but honestly, I just kind of like look myself at a lot of the top holders, and otherwise, I just like don't crazy research to look at everything. I mean, I know the game and the risk I'm taking on when I trade all of this stuff. So, you know, if something's already run up a certain amount and it's like probably not rugged, maybe it's a bit lazy, but I'm like whatever, like it's probably fine.
Right. And also, you probably gained a ton of experience from working at 𝗘𝗥𝗧. So can you like tell us sort of like what experience they gave you and what you learned there?
Okay, yeah, let me think. A couple of things. I think one of the big things I learned from 𝗘𝗥𝗧 was just understanding like what it actually means to run an exchange, and specifically when it comes to futures, perpetuals, and then what's actually possible on that side, and like what makes a good trader, what makes a bad trader. The kind of economics of running even a business like that is, you know, can be extremely complex. But there's obviously a lot of opportunity as well. And so some other things we saw were, you know, one of the main things that 𝗘𝗥𝗧 allowed people to do was like use various memes and other things as actually collateral to trade. So having a kind of a deep understanding of what's possible there. Let me think, what else? What are interesting things that I learned along my journey? I think a big one as well was just what does it mean to gather attention in this space? I mean, I think during 𝗘𝗥𝗧, like the run up from you know, the last like 6 months or so, before things kind of took a bit of a downturn, we very much managed to onboard a lot of the Solana kind of user base to that product, which is obviously something that now you're seeing all of the big trading terminals and tools and everything are trying to do. So it was a very good lesson in just like how to gather attention in this space, and who do you basically need to onboard, like who are the ones like on chain or on Twitter who are kind of garnering a lot of this attention, and what does it mean to work with them, and how do the relationships between all of those guys impact all of this stuff. I think what else as well, yeah, I guess just a lot of it is just really lessons in business, but it really gave me a very good network with a lot of the general kind of meme coin community space builders, etc.
KOLs, etc. as well.
KOLs also, yeah, for sure. I mean, KOLs is a huge part. I mean, almost every time this discussion comes up, someone wants to like go and talk about, oh, but this is unfair, they're dumping, being paid, blah, 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 blah. But like, this is just how an economy works, right? Like, this is the real world. Like, either notice that this is happening, understand the game you're playing, and basically figure out whether you're going to ride with the wave or try to go against it, right? Or, you know, it's just, this is the game you play. Of course, there's like certain levels of ethics and morality, and I don't necessarily agree with, or would, you know, I wouldn't do myself maybe some of the things that some of these KOLs are doing. But it doesn't mean I can't see that it's happening as it's happening, or predict certain things are going to happen, or react in a certain way afterwards, and be able to profit off the situation.
Right. When it comes to KOL, you remember when Mark Andreessen started reposting, talking about AI16Z?
Yeah, for sure.
To me, that seemed like the VCs were, you know, engineering something that took KOLs out of their business in a way. To me, that's what that whole thing looked like. I don't know, maybe it's a conspiracy theory.
I think maybe somewhat. It's probably just like Mark Andreessen wanting to play around a little bit. I mean, they probably invested in a bunch of crypto, more legit crypto stuff over the years, and maybe they realized when they maybe they could have invested in Pump Fund and they faded it or something, and so they were like, okay, fuck, we have to somehow get a slice of this meme pie, and maybe even also they are actually incredibly bullish on memes and the general kind of like gambling meme space and want to think how to be a part of it, and so that was their kind of way to dip their feet in the water and try it, right?
And try and play
yeah, and try and play it, and they definitely did a fucking insanely good job of it. But again, this is how economies work. This is how people work. That I'm like, there's a lot of stories about the JP Morgan guy or whatever, like the head of his name's like, is it Jamie Dimon or something like that? It's a big huge TradFi guy, like runs one of the biggest investment banks in the world. And if he basically goes out and says, yeah, you know what, I don't think that this quarter is going to be so good for us, then the stock will just like tank like 20%, and then he just buys the dip, and he's like, thank you for playing, and no one complains.
Bitcoin?
Yeah, and he did it with Bitcoin as well, right? So this is just what happens when you're dealing with relatively smaller assets that can be manipulated, right? Like at the end of the day, crypto is just one big poker game of like bluffing out people to sell their bags so that you can buy and
like I've never seen, I don't think anyone has as much power as Mark Andreessen, because with one or two tweets he created an entire like 10 to 20 billion dollar market cap new asset class of AI agents. Like he created it alone with just 2 or 3 tweets. Like that's a lot of power.
Yeah, no, insane to see. Wish I had that kind of power, man. Where do I find it? What do I have to do?
But the thing is, the agents are like all dead and the meme coins are still here, so yeah, they're not gonna go away for sure. Because at the end of the day, you no one's lying. There's no, you just, at the end of the day, the price goes down like 95%, but you still have the community there holding the bag and making noise, and so these will rebound. Not all of them, of course, but a smaller percentage will. Also, are you bullish any other sector other than meme coins? Any other thing in particular?
I'm pretty bullish on the hyperliquid ecosystem generally. I think that there's a lot of pros and cons and reasons behind all of this kind of stuff, but to boil it down very simply, there are SEX traders and there are DEX traders. And naturally, as time goes on, I think that more traders who get comfortable with crypto, and because the reason people trade in SEX is because it's easier, right? It's easier and they feel that it's safer because they're not taking custody of their own funds. Now that obviously has its own risks with regards to exchange can lock their accounts for whatever reason and can blow up and all this kind of stuff. But I just think that generally as the crypto industry grows, as its participants grow in number, but also in knowledge and maturity, they will move more on chain. And as they move more on chain, they will trade on on-chain venues such as Hyperliquid. Now, whether that's just Hyperliquid as currently the, let's say, top winning horse in that bracket, or whether it's up and coming DEXs that do that in the future, Hyperliquid is definitely the largest right now, and I just think that they're doing a really good job, and I think that products and builders in that ecosystem are doing great things. Solana memes, of course. What else? Let me think. I'm not particularly bullish that much on base or BNB and all these kinds of things. Don't get me wrong, I very much will trade coins in those ecosystems whenever there's a season there or whenever I see opportunity. Recently there was a token called KTA. It's some bullshit L1, super fast, whatever the fuck. I just basically saw it running, saw it accumulating really well, saw a lot of big guys speaking about it, and was pretty confident that it was going to catch a bid. And there was kind of like this narrative of it being worth less than like what the VCs had even invested at. So maybe market makers are going to push this thing up, etc., etc. Again, this is vibe trading, vibe investing, right? That could have been a bad trade. I could have lost money, but luckily I didn't, and I made like 2x in like a week, right? So otherwise, I'm very bearish on all Binance BNB things. I fucking giga shorted the pancake swap token when like around the top of the, let's call it Binance season, like BNB season a couple weeks ago. I was just like, so trash, bro. It's like the most forced thing, and I just think it's a terrible chain, and I think all the memes on it are not funny or interesting or well run at all. It's all just like basically market making stuff. Doesn't mean you can't make money on it, like very much putting that out there. There's a lot of money to be made on BNB chain, but it's a shit chain compared to everything else, and I'd rather not fuck with it if I don't have to. So my preferred method is just short everything on it when it feels top. Like there's no way 𝗵𝗵𝗥 was gonna pump any more after Eid. It was like the easiest short in the world. Like my one concern and why I didn't short it was I was worried that too many people were gonna try like giga brain it like me and be like, oh my god, when Eid happens it's gonna dump, so I'm gonna short it. And I thought maybe like some market makers or whoever's running that coin, because it's like so insider, we're gonna basically try to like scam pump it up and liquidate like all shorts, like either on Eid or just after Eid for that exact reason. But it honestly, that didn't even happen. It just nuked literally like exactly the day like of Eid or day after. It just like nuked like 50%, and now it's dead. So yeah.
Yeah, the BNB season was completely forced. CZ, I mean, everything he did was wrong. Also, Base, I was super disappointed. Like Coinbase, like they could have listed so many meme coins. They could have actually competed with Solana, and they completely fumbled the entire cycle. They were late to the meme stuff, sort of like trying to deny it a bit. And they have Coinbase. Like they could have listed a lot of these memes way earlier, I think. But yeah, Solana bullish. I agree. Hyperliquid is interesting as well. Other than that, honestly, I think BTC L2s probably can do well whenever they start launching. And other than that, I think that we could see either something on gaming, like someone creates a cool game that's Ponzified and you can, make money and PvP, and something out of nowhere could explode in gaming. I think it's possible. And also, there's in privacy, I think people are sleeping, but there could be something like if someone, for example, who, what's his name? 𝗕𝗟𝗢𝗙𝗏 is. He's an OG BTC dev and he's making a layer 1. It's basically like Monero, but with smart contracts. So it's like if Monero was ETH. So something like that could come off and pull a 𝗕𝗏, for example.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think if you have time and you find these opportunities early and you're willing to put some capital and see it risk a little bit, and maybe you make some huge gains if they run. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's not a bad idea maybe to remind like anyone who's listening, and this is, I'm saying this more as a reminder to myself, like remember like what crypto was like a year or two ago, where you actually had to sit down and do research and try to think ahead and predict what was going to happen and which narratives were going to run. And there was always this constant cycling of one narrative to another, right? And I think we kind of lost that in crypto. Now, in some ways, the same way you're seeing daily runners and all this kind of stuff, like that philosophy and style of sort of TikTok brain trading is very much seen every day in memes, right? Like people basically just trade whatever is hot at the time. We've kind of lost this like concept of like thinking ahead in crypto a little bit, maybe a bit with regards to macro and where is Bitcoin going to be in a month, right? But at least with like meme trading, it's like so essence of the moment every single day. And so if we do ever see a return to like altcoins and stuff like that, and these L1s and these privacy ones and these Bitcoin L2s, etc., I mean, hey, it's always good to go do some research, and it's interesting.
Yeah, right now I'm just speculating, but to me nothing's more bullish than meme coins. As of now, I don't see anything changing.
But yeah, it's hilarious to me that. Well, I'll say just quickly, it's hilarious to me that people saying trenches are dead, but if the trenches are dead, like where the fuck does that leave everything else? Because I'm not doing anything else right now. I don't think there's anything else to do. So all I'm doing is trading memes. So I feel sorry for the guys who think that memes are dead right now.
I completely forgot that there were tariff wars, and Bitcoin was crashing and Solana was crashing. because I was too busy with 𝗘𝗫𝗥𝗧𝗏 and 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗏 and house
Going up.
and I completely forgot, like, oh yeah, there's this entire other side of the market where everyone's depressed, and then I'm just looking at every single daily runner and seeing what's happening, and it's still exciting.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that the infrastructure and like just the general meme market is constantly maturing. It's a fast-paced game, but it's a fun one.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Any bags I want to show? Let me have a think.
Bags you want to show your links, like your YouTube link or your X link.
Yeah, I'm not doing any masses of content right now. Mainly just my Twitter is at Nico.fun, 𝗘𝗫𝗖𝗛𝗙 spelled out dot. But yeah, I mean,
down below.
I appreciate that. The one other coin I'll mention that I think one or two that look good right now. One just in terms of the chart, the figure chart, the like action figure, you know, kind of like the Ghibli style trend saw people doing. I got into that around like 1.52 mil, so I'm still holding it now. I do think realistically it could just like drop off the face of the earth tomorrow. Like it's kind of already a dead trend, and like I'm not really seeing people do it anymore. But the coin surprisingly looks pretty good, and it's like holding this like 3 to 5 mil kind of range quite well. Something to watch.
I know it's strong because my girlfriend posted her figure on Instagram.
Wow.
And she said her friends are all posting, and they were also doing the Ghibli stuff last week. And so these meme coin trends are completely in touch with what's happening in reality in terms of memes in actual real life.
The other one, speaking of TikTok and trends in the real world, I think aura farming is a great coin. I don't know who's running it.
Yeah.
I don't know anything else about it. It's at like a mil right now. It went to like 1.52, but that's my low cap bet right now. Like I think aura farming, you know, if you think of it in terms of, remember lock-in, remember Sigma, remember the actual aura coin as well, like 6 to 8 months ago, however long it was ago.
Yeah.
Like I think we're seeing more of a return to that style of meme. Like this is what 𝗘𝗫𝗥𝗧𝗏 reminds me of, right? There is a 𝗘𝗫𝗥𝗧𝗏𝗏 on Twitter, right? It's a group chat with a bunch of people posting pictures of tits with the 𝗘𝗫𝗥𝗧𝗏 logo on it. It's genius. It's like the easiest marketing in the world. It sells itself, right? And you're seeing like more of this return to that style of a very like community, like a feeling of a meme, right? Like aura farming is like a very fun term, and it makes a lot of sense, right? So yeah, I don't know. I think aura farming is cool. I'm holding it. I think it will do well.
Yeah, I'm also bullish on aura farm. I traded it, got out, and yeah, this is also one that I was looking at completely at for.
It looks good. It looks really, really good here. Like retracing back to like 900k.
Yeah, I like our
man. What are we doing speaking about 900k memes, man? But honestly, I'm so bullish.
Yeah, I like aura farm as well. I completely agree with you. Other than that, I'm not really trading anything else right now. Just trying to look to whatever is going to be next. And then, you know, in a month or two, we could have like some random meme coin just run up to 1 billion market cap, like out of nowhere, like 𝗵𝗏𝗏 style. Something just explodes. Like, so that's why you have to always be paying attention, because it's just out of nowhere, something massive may happen.
Yeah, I don't know why, man. Like, I just don't know. I don't know if I'm early or if I'm delusional, but it feels like memes right now and the trenches feels like how it felt before things like Giga and SPX and Retardio and all that kind of stuff, like really, really like ran from the kind of 20 mil range up to a couple 100 mil. And that was when Solana was in a better position, right? I'm not saying Solana or the entire market is going to turn bullish soon. In fact, I think things are going to get much worse over the next couple months. I think that general macro and everything is, yeah, low key, I kind of hope so, because I'm fucking stable as shit. I'm shorting like perps most of the time and having good success, and I will continue to basically parlay my money into good swings on memes that I just fucking stable completely afterwards. Keep growing my stable stack, and it just will put me in a really good position to DCA back into this market when I get confident on majors and other things, and maybe even altcoins again. Who knows?
Yeah, perhaps, maybe. But I think we should wrap it here. I think this was a good talk, and I can't wait to also maybe have you here on the show another time. And if you want to bring like a friend or something like that, it would also be fun. But thank you very much, Nico. And this was the first CoinTalk interview, and I hope we can have more. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.